Greetings, actives, and welcome to the December Founders Call. It's hard to believe, David, that we're in December already. If you're new and watching this perhaps for the first time and new to actives, welcome. David and I do this every single month on the 15th, and it's an opportunity for us to talk a little bit about the last month, some of the highlights and some of the the best moments for us, as well as share a little bit with what we see coming down the pipeline. So welcome to this month's Founders Call. It is great to be with all of you. Truthfully, David, when I say it's hard to believe that we're in December, I'm not exaggerating whatsoever. It is incredible that we're already ending 2021. It feels like we just started 2022. To be totally honest, I'm not sure what happened to the last 2 years, but they're an amalgamation of just blurred memories for me. But it is exciting to be here with you and in actives. And if you're watching this tonight, you're in the right place at the right time. We have some huge things happening. We're really starting to get some great growth in the United States, which is a lot of fun. Couple of things that we're going to talk about, David, is our first ever ACTIVZ fly-in that we had, a couple of weeks ago. But why don't we start with you? Let us know what are some of the standout moments for you for this last month of December or for this last month.
Well, thanks, Ryan. Hello, actives. It's great to be with you again. Just echoing what Ryan said, isn't it amazing how fast time goes by? And it's a good thing I don't write checks anymore, because I'd probably still be writing like 2015 or something on checks. But it's crazy. This past month in particular, I mean, since we last had this call, just think of the unbelievable things that have happened. I mean, since our last call, we had our 4th anniversary event in Mexico City with 1,200 of our closest friends pretty much coming together. That was just an unbelievable event. If you haven't seen that, even if you don't speak Spanish, there's a great recap video that's available, I think, on our ACTIVZ Facebook page and probably in your back office and on YouTube. It's just, you'll definitely get it, no matter what language you speak, or if you don't speak any language, which is kind of impossible, but you would get a flavor for the spirit and the excitement and everything that came together as really a lot of pent up emotion and energy from now over 2 years of not being able to get together in large meetings. I mean, everybody it was like a huge family reunion, wonderful remarks, and just a great event. And then going from there to, at least certainly on a smaller scale, but no less emotional, no less power packed, was this ACTIVZ fly-in that you just mentioned, where we brought in, English speaking ACTIVZ and above, and did a day and a half full of training. We took them on a tour of a manufacturing facility in Utah where the products are manufactured, and then had a full day of training on Saturday. And I think everybody left, tired and spent, but really filled with not only great information, but a renewed belief in actives, reminding them of not only why they joined, but why it's so important for them to share it with other people. And so lots of great stuff. Just almost too much to talk about in the time that we have today. But so and those are great things. I'm glad that's a good problem to have so many things to talk about. We're not even sure where to begin.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And you know what? I mean, being in the middle of December, the 20th of November seems like such a long time ago, but it's true. We haven't had a founders call since then, or a founders Zoom since then. And that was definitely the highlight for me, this last month. There's no doubt about that. It was a lot of work. It was, 3 days of no sleep, and especially for members of our company that were working down there. I really want to give credit where credit is due to Jessica Alarcon, Francisco Varela, Joanna Becker, who worked really hard. Karina Rocha worked really, really hard. And then we had, Sandra down there, and Veronica and Jackie and our other Karina, and who are all account managers. And, they got very little sleep. Most of us
Angie
had very, very little sleep. And Angie Hawthorne, our chief operating officer, of course. Yeah. It was just a lot of time on our feet, and especially the people that I just mentioned, a lot of behind the scenes work. So they just did a great job. 1,200 people were there. And like you said, David, after, 2 years of not getting together in any big way like that, it was cathartic. Actually, it was great. It's like going back to a family reunion. And one of my observations was I've talked about this in years past, how I'm always impressed, just incredibly impressed by the sacrifices that people make to invest in their future, right? And what I mean is when they, we have people that will, the entire family will board a bus and travel for 24 hours from Chihuahua, Mexico, or 8 hours from Tampico, Tamaulipas, or 10 hours from Cuauhtemoc. It's just, we had the room was full of people who were betting on this opportunity, betting on themselves, and had gotten there at great sacrifice. But they were excited, and not just for excitement's sake, but because they could feel that they were in the right place at the right time with the right group of people, really positioned in front of the next big economic wave. And so I'm convinced of that, and I do feel and felt very humbled being in that room, in the Hyatt Regency where we were down in Polanco, Mexico, in Mexico City, with that many people who are leading the charge for our company. Many of them, they were the pioneers when we launched this company 4 years ago. What was cool, David? I loved Friday night, the 19th, being in the room, the VIP dinner that we had. Because without knowing, and I don't think you knew this, I don't know that any of us were aware of this, but we looked around and said, wait a second, this is the same room that we were in when we launched the company exactly 4 years earlier at a ribbon cutting event. And we had a VIP reception and dinner that night, but it was so different because everything was in front of us. We hadn't accomplished anything yet, right? We had people who kind of pre-qualified to be at that VIP dinner, but everything was aspirational. Everything was, boy, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Well, now after 4 years, to be in that same room and be able to say, we did this, we accomplished that. We have all these ranks, all these A16s, A13s, A12s in that room. Everybody there was an A10, or they qualified to be there. And that was just, I really had to pinch myself because while we're not there yet, while we haven't made it yet, and we have a long ways to go, we've gotten past the hardest part. And that was for me, just, it gives me chills, brings a little bit of a tear to my eye also to think about what we've been through. But I just am very, very proud of everybody who's played a part in our last 4 years success in bringing us to this point.
You reminded me of a couple of things. One was, I don't remember, you might remember who it was that we were talking to in Mexico City, and you mentioned to her, like, oh, that's so great that you'd be willing to board a bus and come for 10 or 12 hours. Yeah. And she said, and her first response was not, well, it was worth it. She goes, well, that's not nearly as bad as or tough as those people who had to come on a bus 22 or 24 hours from Chihuahua. Yeah. And so they were aware, they didn't even think about their own discomfort. They were aware of what other people were doing. And there's something really symbolic about that, taking the vehicle that they needed to get somewhere they wanted to go, so that they could get on another vehicle, ACTIVZ, that they hope takes them to someplace that they want to go, and making that sacrifice and really doing that. The other thing was, I think people get a kick out of this, was during that dinner you were talking about, there's music playing, and there was an ABBA song playing. And I like ABBA as much as the next guy. I'm a child of the 70s. And so, and all of a sudden, I thought my ears were playing tricks on me because, so when I'm down there and I don't speak Spanish, my ears always attuned to something that I can recognize, a word or two here or there, a phrase. And all of a sudden I could have sworn that I heard in the middle of this ABBA song, as part of the lyrics, Ryan Thompson. And I'm thinking, I must have misheard that. That's not, so I didn't think anything about it. And then they replayed the song, and it was an ABBA song. And now a lot of people heard Ryan Thompson, and I don't know, but I do know that there was a leader there who has some type of musical ability and had done this song and incorporated lyrics involving ACTIVZ and you. And I thought, the symbology there's kind of cool too, because 4 years ago, for many people, and 6 months ago for others, my name, your name, Dr. McCord's name, Al Zapp's name, Link, butyric acid, they weren't part of their lyrics, so to speak. They weren't part of their life. And now, to thousands of people, ACTIVZ is part of the lyrics of their life, and is something that they are playing to and incorporating. It's really kind of cool. So
Right.
I don't know if you'll have to. I'm not sure if your version is a chart topper in Mexico. Hey, I voted for it. I'd go out and buy it. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, no, you're right. That was something worth pointing out for sure. There were actually a couple of songs that night that had been produced and made, especially for us, that had lyrics about ACTIVZ, and heard a couple of recognizable names in them, and that was fun. That was a lot of fun, and it's good that we're still having fun. And I like to always tell people, if you're not having fun, you're doing something wrong. So
exactly,
our people here at ACTIVZ are definitely having fun. Fast forward from that event, and you're right, there's so much symbolism and things that we could really talk about. That I guess the last thing that I want to say about that, David, is not a lot of people know, especially watching this Zoom right now, November 20th is a day called the Revolution Day in Mexico. And it just happened that our launch of ACTIVZ coincided with Revolution Day. And we just happened to launch in Mexico on November 20th, which is when we first started to ship products. And there's a lot of symbolism there. And I gotta just say that for as long as we are ACTIVZ, our official anniversary will always be on Revolution Day. And I just love that, because not being attached to the national economy or the global economy, but taking responsibility and your own welfare and well-being into your own hands, and really enacting that personal revolution of health and personal revolution of financial preparedness is so important. And I love that that's what we stand for. I love that that's what we sell, that's who we are. And our value proposition is that we have tens of thousands of people involved with us and who have used our products because they believe in the future of wellness being in epigenetics, being in natural supplementation. And we also have tens of thousands of people who are waving the banner of ACTIVZ because they believe in entrepreneurship, and they believe in their own ability to carve out their share of their piece of market share in this ever expanding nutrition category by owning and operating their own business. Yeah. So if that's not a revolution, I don't know what is. And we will forever, celebrate our anniversary on Revolution Day. So that I just want to put that out there so everyone knows that that's part of our story.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. In fact, I think you have a picture of talking about unfolding banners that, people holding banners at our A6 fly-in event that you might be able to bring up. And, what's interesting is that we had people presenting and doing things, and that 6 months ago or a year ago, Brian, they would never have believed that they would do that. I think of Colleen Durfee, who was scared to death. Okay, I knew she was scared to death before she got up in front of everyone. And I told her later that the first 10 or 15 seconds, you could tell she was kind of nervous. But then, you know what? She swallowed hard, and to your point, said, I'm revolting against my being scared. I'm rebelling against things that people either expect of me or I've expected of myself, and I'm going to do something different. And she did. In fact, there wasn't a dry eye. We actually probably could have ended the meeting right there in the morning.
I agree.
After her presentation, because it was so powerful and so, and really reminding us what it's all about. And so you're right. Not only, is the company's anniversary on November 20th, the Revolution Day, and not only is the day that you joined ACTIVZ, or anybody listening to this call joined ACTIVZ, their own personal revolution day, but then every day they act upon it. Every day they, take the products, every day they share it with somebody else. That's also a little bit of a revolution and changing. And it's just amazing to me that during the month of November, there are lots of distractions. There's Thanksgiving and other things, and we had this big event in Mexico City, and yet we still had a strong growth month over the previous month. As we go into December, there's lots of distractions. The holidays, sometimes people use that as a kind of an opportunity to just sit back and say, well, nothing's going to happen in December. There's all this stuff going on. People are distracted. And then there are other people who revolt and rebel against that thought. They said, no, that's crazy. Why shouldn't December? Because I have the opportunity to be with friends and family, because health and wellness and opportunity and giving good gifts is on the top of the mind of everyone. right? I'm reminded of, all the gifts that I've received in my life, and you worry about not only the gifts you're going to give, especially when you're little, and then the gifts that you're going to give as a parent and others. And at the end of the day, most of the gifts that we give, no matter how well intended, no matter how expensive, frankly, wear out quickly. They become yesterday's news. They break, they go out of fashion, they do whatever. But there are some gifts, frankly, that are enduring. And if you realize, if we really think about what people want, every country, every year, show that we're all the same. The top 3 things that people want are not necessarily in this order, but some variation of this is good health, more money or more financial security, and love and friendship. And I just, it might sound a little cliche, but when I think about our products and our company and what we're trying to do, don't we deliver at least the promise of those 3 very important gifts? If someone had the opportunity to give somebody a brand new Tesla, which represents the cutting edge of automobile technology, they might want to do it. It's a little expensive, but you know what? Even that will wear out and isn't good for all purposes. Or you could give them the cutting edge of Nerf 2 technology, the cutting edge delivery system of butyric acid or tetrahydrocurcumin. That is just as cutting edge scientifically as freaking Tesla is. Maybe that sounds like I'm overstating it or exaggerating, but it really isn't. It represents the same type of cutting edge science that will benefit us. And so I'm just excited, and I hope everyone will take this opportunity to share those gifts that they've been given, to really remember what you just said about the personal revolution. Revolt against the parts of your life that you don't like, the things that people have told you that you can't do, and give that gift to yourself, saying, no, I'm going to do it. It's my chance, it's my opportunity, and I'm going to share that with others during this Christmas season. And that's really what I hope that people will do, is just, open their mouths and share and overcome whatever seems to be holding them back, and realize that they've got it in them. And we saw that in spades in Mexico City and later in Salt Lake City. So sorry, I got a little worked up there, but I'm excited about where we are.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, it is. And I'll just echo what you said. And I shared for a moment the picture that you were talking about, with everybody in Utah just, a couple of weeks ago, waving the banner. I'm gonna go ahead and share it right here. This is what David was talking about, and this was a fun experience. This was with an A6 fly-in. We had people qualified to be here, and we flew them into the corporate office, as he said, and then we did a training. So it gets to the short video.
Yes, please.
1, 2,
3.
ACTIVZ! There we go.
Right. That's even better. I like that. It's a short video picture is what that was. But David, just hearing you talk about that and looking at that short video clip, I'm reminded of what we talked about that day. I'm reminded of a lot of what we talked about in Mexico City, and what's really been thematic lately for me, anyways, and what I've been talking about is vision. Things don't happen without visualizing, without having a vision of what you want to accomplish. People ask us all the time, what's the vision of the company? What's the mission of the company? And the vision, it's first of all, we don't start something if you don't have a vision for what you want to accomplish. We rarely do anything if we don't have a vision for what we're trying to accomplish. But the vision for starting a big movement or revolution like what we are starting, it really has to do with having a big vision, and being willing to dream again and to dream big in a major way. A lot of what we do and a lot of what we teach people to do and encourage people to do as they join ACTIVZ is to dream again, right? Allow yourself to dream again, to think back to what you wanted when you were 5, when you were 10, when you were 15, when you were in your early 20s, and what you thought you could accomplish and what you believed about yourself and what you believed you could accomplish. Because I know for a lot of people, we go through life and you stop believing, right? Life is a process of believing less oftentimes, and you get to the point where you're like, yeah, I used to think I could do that, now I can't. But what we've found, and I'll say what I personally have discovered through this industry, is the vehicle that allows us to dream again and to actually realize that dream. ACTIVZ never would have happened if we wouldn't have had a big dream and believed
that we could get these technologies into our company, and that we could create an omni-channel distribution model of a company to bring to market, and to help bring these products to market. And as a distributor, you know, it's difficult to really grow and to rank advance if you don't believe you can do it. So, you know, what I talked a lot about in Mexico, and, you know, what you, myself, and others talked about in Utah at the ACTIVZ fly-in, it was a lot to do with, you know, not just dreaming, but have that vision, right? What is your vision? Because, you know, if somebody's watching this and say, you know, I want to get to A16, or I want to get to A12, I want to make at least $10,000 a month residually, or 40,000 a month, or whatever that goal is, you gotta visualize it, you know. And one thing that I know is certain is clarity of vision is important. So not just saying the word, not just referring to a title, but visualizing. What's your life going to be like? What's your family going to be like? What's your day-to-day, you know, what's it going to feel like to know that you have that you have built a business where you have this significant residual income coming in every month? Are flowers going to smell better? Is the bacon going to be, you know, smell better when you wake up in the morning? Are the birds going to chirp, you know, nicer? You know, and I would argue that they will. You know, you could say, well, no, it's going to be the same. But, you know, when you've made it, when you've got there, everything is sweeter. So visualize that, really visualize that, right? Bring things into focus, because what I've learned, and Dave, we talk about this, to the extent that you can have that clarity of vision and really visualize things, it increases the likelihood, it increases the probability that the universe will conspire to bring that to you. You know, we talk a lot about following a daily plan of action. We talk about sharing and contacting and presenting and following up, you know, and we talk about all kind of the nuts and bolts, the X's and O's of our business sometimes. But really, it's also about just digging deep and saying, what do I want to accomplish? And really visualizing that, and then creating that plan, retrofitting a plan behind that vision, and saying, okay, I'm gonna reach this goal, and here's how I'm gonna do it. And then going and really jumping in with both feet and taking action. So, you know, if there's anything that I can share of value today, it really is that as we end 2021 and begin 2022, let's make sure that we've got that vision, that you've got a personal vision, you know, call it a why, write it down, and then create a plan on how you're going to do it. What are you going to do today? Who are you going to contact? When you contact them, what are you going to share with them? And I'll just say this, something that I learned from a mentor a long time ago is don't be afraid to share why you're doing what you're doing. Sometimes we get in the process of selling and talking about the features and the benefits of products, or how to make money, and you know, how much this guy made or that lady made, and we share testimonials. And sometimes don't be afraid to share why you are doing what you're doing. It will go a long ways to connect with the person listening to you. And in fact, it will likely be the only thing that person can identify with, because they'll identify with your why, right? If you've got kids, you want to spend more time with them, and they have kids, well, chances are they want to spend more time with their kids. They want to take their parents on a trip. They want to take their wife or their husband on a trip. So don't be afraid to share your why. When you do that, you're really creating a conduit to transmit that belief with that other person. So if you know, that'll be my tip of the day, my tip of the month. Make sure that you share why you're doing what you're doing, share your vision, dream big, and let's go the distance. David, what tip do you want to share with people today?
Well, just connected to that, you know, this time of year, we often say, have a Merry Christmas, or hope you have a happy holiday season. And we all want to have a Merry Christmas. You know, the challenge I would leave is, rather than just saying, you know, leaving it out there in a passive way, have a Merry Christmas, look for ways to help people have a Merry Christmas and help them have a happy holiday season. And as you do that, you'll automatically, when we help somebody else have a Merry Christmas, we automatically get a Merry Christmas. It just comes with the territory. And by the same token, you know, if you think, well, I don't want to be all wrapped up in me in regards to my active business, great. Go get wrapped up in somebody else and help them build their active business. And as you do that along the way, you'll help them not just have a Merry Christmas, you'll help them have a merry life. And it's really everything that all of you do as part of your business building efforts and your influencing efforts are just a microcosm of what we do. You know, everything we do, you know, Ryan, you and I don't rank advanced. We aren't A1s or A16s. What do? We spend our time identifying, helping people become A16s. And as we do that, we know that we help the company grow. And if everyone here listening will say, yes, I have this goal, but I will help other people get there along the way. And you'll just automatically, you know, as you're lifting their boat with your tide, your boat gets higher. And so again, I guess have a Merry Christmas, but make it a Merry Christmas for everyone that you come in contact with. You all have the tools, you all have the personalities. We know so many of you, you know, we really do love and pray and think about you every single day. It's because you are us. We just view you as family members, and just like you want the best for every single family member, and you don't want any family member to be lost along the way. You want everyone to have the benefits of what we have to offer. That's what we hope, and that's what we desire. That's what we're going to continue to try and do for you. And I think if you all do the same thing with others that are within your circle of influence, it's just amazing. The effect that we'll have for positive and individual lives, as well as communities and families will be changed for generations. And that's pretty cool. So have a Merry Christmas and make it a Merry Christmas, everyone. And you too, Mr. Thompson.
You too, Mr. Brown. Thank you very much. I think you said it. So everybody, we're in the right place at the right time. Let's take action. Let's go the distance. Let's use the rest of this month to really create momentum, to have just an unforgettable year of 2022, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody. We'll see you very soon. And as always, we'll see you at the top. Thanks, David.
Bye, everybody.
Take care, everybody.